A weakening portal opened in Chief's Kingdom. A dry desert cliff in sunshine melted into the fog of a San Francisco sea. An army of miners with golden weapons formed a front line, an incredible defensive front, waiting for the war chiefs. "Lower your weapons!" screamed Prospector Shanahan. "I said get them down!" 3 men from an incredible story stood before them. An intimidating fairy tale full of dignity and grit. The Buffalo had defeated the war chiefs, and that meant they could defeat anyone else. Utah Davis stepped forward toward the weakening portal. Gardner Dawkins moved in a wheelchair made from a war chariot. The Josh of Allentown pushed him. "Look out." Fear murmured at first, but seeing a strong heart signal of peace, 2 hands made into the shape of a heart, the San Francisco line reverently parted. The Bills walked through the supreme defenders unharmed. A story did this. A story they wanted to believe in. Rows of minor infantry became a crowd, which became a tunnel. Some irrelevant miner laid a hand on Josh's back. No, I'm not a savior," said Josh. "I'm just like you." The rest followed, palms outstretched, all the way to the bay. Dawkins was right. They found a way to 1849. Meanwhile, back in 1872, life was good. Diggs lined up the Goodyear airship over the silo and gave Mayor Del Reed the honor of pulling the lever. The cargo bay broke open and their hard-earned treasures flowed freely into the Mafia fort. The chief flowed, on top of steel, on top of Raven relics, on top of Titans, on top of Rams. The Buffalo Nation had more dignity than any realm in their half of the multiverse. As water flowed from the silo to the elm woods, the birch field, the fruit belt, and the botanist's garden, the harvest grew fat and ripe. When it was clear no enemies from the entire multiverse dared approach New Fort York that week, the chefs declared a street feast for everyone in the realm to get a taste of the Buffalo Nation. Even a friendly face finally rode into Allentown, lowering her favorite Zuba's headscarf. It was Jubilee. When Josh, Dawkins, and Davis finally rode into Allentown, it was 1849. "Wow," said Josh below the water tower. "Everything looks the same," said Davis. There was the Ellicott Square Dance Hall, the Buffalo Theater, Town Hall, and the Lafayette Inn. All 4 blocks. Just 4 years old at this point in time. "I guess nothing was built during the drought," said Dawkins from the wheelchair. "Go Bills," said Josh to the 1849 Mafia folk in the trolley that was turning around at the foot of Main Street. The single track ran the entire length of it.
"Go Bills,"
said the uniformed coachman as they stepped on and he rang the first down bell. Other than that, it ran silently. "It says it's thermal powered," mentioned Dawkins, reading the plaque. But Josh looked out at the Mafia folk, in the bison carts and their old-fashioned red hats. He read all the shop names that he could spot between the crowds. Flutie Oaks and Flakes Company, Eric's Crown Moldings, Mr. Clutch's Outdoor Circus, and, he whispered, Reed's Music Emporium. "We made it, Sachem." The Bills' trio of the future stepped into the smoky shadows of the smithy. Beautiful acoustic guitar noodling could be heard in another room as hot iron popped and the furnace roared. They followed the miraculous music, an old folk tune. As they approached, it got a little bit louder until... Whoa! Shout! The musician jumped off the table. Hey, brothers. Y'all startled me, all. Go Bills! Oh, no, I'm so sorry, sir, said Josh. Are you the legendary Blacksmith? The musician wore a blue suede suit, covered in glittering sequins and jewels, but not a single smudge of charcoal. No! He ain't the Blacksmith, said Dawkins loudly. I'm Elvis, said the young man. As they shook hands, Josh said, Your music is excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Suddenly a giant walked through carrying an anvil in robotic augmented arms, steam popping and chains tightening. That's the Blacksmith, whispered Dawkins. All three stared at the superhuman strength and scale of the smith.
What? You've never seen a cyborg before?
Oh, no, sir. We got one of our own, said Josh, waving it off, trying to make it sound casual. He's from the future, actually. Well, the future. But now, well, an hour now, at least 20 years from now, he lives with us Bills here. In the future. Normal future. Dawkins buried his face in embarrassment.
Okay. So you're from the future?
The smith shrugged. He tossed the anvil into the furnace and moved about the forge.
Tell me, is Buffalo Bruce the Emperor King of the Multiverse?
No. Not at the moment, added Davis.
But you bask in the mighty metropolis we are building.
Not exactly. But we are lucky to inherit these amazing buildings.
How many times have we centered the multiverse in super collapses in the next 20 years?
We haven't, said Josh, and not giving room for Davis to sugarcoat the reality this time. We won't even be printed on the map. What? Asked Elvis. A period of great darkness and famine is about to descend on our homes. I'm a child of that drought. The giant blacksmith stopped moving. He looked to Elvis.
Go get the Oracle.
The medicine man with far-seeing spectacles wore red and yellow robes. He examined the newcomers against many spiritual rituals, tossing wings and sauce to evaluate their alignment, or rubbing a mustard seed and a tomato seed below their eyes. Good. Or asking them each to drink from the ancient vial of milk, causing them each to vomit. Meh.
What do you see, Pinto Ron?
Pinto Ron? Josh asked, wiping his mouth. I have your horse. I'm borrowing it, in the future. I'd never met you, so I couldn't ask for permission. No, it's okay. Thank you. Very kind of you. Just remind me. Oracle, sir, Dawkins asked, is him telling you your future actions going to possibly change the course of time? Where did you say you got the Pinto? The second week of 1872, she was hitched to a hammer outside McCarthy's. But is Dawkins right? Is me even talking about it going to cause your horse to never even be born? Nah, she's already 19. But I'll keep her alive for you.
And you came here for a weapon.
Okay, gun.
Asked Smith, poking the red-hot anvil in the furnace with a robotic arm. No, sir. To protect you.
Ha!
What? Josh asked. Dawkins glanced at the tattoo recorded on his arm. The blacksmith has caused more sacrifices than anyone in the multiverse. Ever.
Most of them gunslingers.
Smiled the smith. We have reason to believe that a small posse of stealers may try to come through here to equip their gang with a powerful weapon, said Davis.
Yeah.
The blacksmith lifted out the glowing steel anvil and dropped it on the bedrock, shaking the building.
Davis, Dawkins, and Allen was their names. Steel salesman. You just missed them.
No. No, said Josh. That's us. They were actually con men. Pickens, and Watt.
Is that so?
Asked the smith.
These fellas, one in a wheelchair by the way, said that Buffalo Bruce does become the Emperor King of the Multiverse, and New Fort Smith is a constant center of the super collapse. And I invent carpet. Whatever that is.
That is a lie, said Davis. Carpet's actually going to be invented by Alex Smith, added Dawkins. Did you make them a gun? Asked Allen.
Of course I made them a gun. I'm the greatest blacksmith to ever strike dignity into steel. I could build a city on the foes I've obliterated. And so I did. And I have no intention of stopping until the great Buffalo Nation becomes the empire it deserves to be,
said the smith, smashing the hot anvil.
Nobody wants your version of the future.
No, said Josh. We didn't want to lose all our dignity. We didn't want to never see rain or need to apologize that we lived in the Buffalo Nation or lose a generation of younglings or scratch out a living on a ferry buried in a sand dune. But we did. For 17 years. And now it's up to us to fix that. Dawkins and Davis both noticed the gunslinger said us instead of me. That's what happened in Kansas.
You may be little, gunslinger,
said the giant smith.
But you are a strong heart. I would rather accept easy glory. But it is the pain that builds heroes. The Oracle sniffed out the frauds,
said the smith, nodding to Pinto Ron. They put ketchup on their wings. What? Oh my... No! The Bills gasped. Elvis was sick in a cauldron. But you gave them a K-gun? Or some powerful weapon? Josh asked.
No. We drove them out of town naked. I gave the blaster piece to some kid.
Little Ben, recalled Pinto Ron.
Little Ben,
repeated the smith.
He won't be a problem in the future, right?
Dawkins checked his tattoo records. No. He'd be before our time. The greatest blacksmith in the multiverse. Cyber-organic or organic, forged a magnificent new weapon from his very own anvil.
This is my original Bethlehem steel. Toughness for a savior.
And he added cannon pieces from the actual K-gun of Machine Gun Kelly.
Toughness, power, accuracy of the past. But for you, something new. The child of fire.
The smith pushed the furnaces hotter than ever before. The whole forge of shadows glowed orange, melting the air. Josh of Allentown glowed, feeling great heat before.
A child of the glorious fireball fairy.
Josh looked over. Wait, you've heard of it?
Oh yes. It's the only way to cross the Niagara in those parts. Short of a 5 days ride, Skipper Allen and his girl.
Yeah, my grandfather and liquid metal hissed and sparked. My mom.
Sure. Of course she's your kid. Same heart.
What, Mom? She's more of a homebody. She doesn't much care for tall tales. The eternal weapon was hammered out.
Tall tales? She was in one. 'Twas the Allen's daughter who saw the stampede hijacked by cowboys of the collapse. No signal, no warning. She made ready the ferry for a fast crossing. Held it running to the dock by hand. She believed a rider would come.
Josh was in awe, whispering, Farmer with a BB gun.
He had a custom-forged 82 caliber lever-action repeater. His name was BB, and your mom made his story possible.
When it was finished, the heroic weapon was magnificent. It was a volley-shot rifle, no doubt, but also featured armor plates on the forearm, bicep, and shoulder to reinforce the mighty kick, and to stave off hand-to-hand attackers of a front line. Josh of Allentown's arm was formidable and strong, accurate and durable, but also detailed, with intricate icons of his incredible story. Unfinished.
Armor for the Maverick Rider of the Great Drought. A gift to the Son of Fire and her Fireball Fairy.
Smith introduced
The Fire Arm.
the 34-line trolley dinged past outside Fort York. The buffalo flags waved overhead and cast shadows on the Bills of old and new. Both of them on the edge of change. So how are we supposed to get back to the future? Davis asked Dawkins. We can't exactly go back to the San Francisco Gold Rush. They constantly reset their era to 1849. I know, said Dawkins, looking around. So, I wasn't even sure this would work. You didn't have a path back? Well, I know. To be fair, Sachem Reed did say traveling back in time is impossible, said Dawkins. I have to feed my fish. I will feed him for you. 23 years in the future, promised Pinto Ron.
Your only chance would be to find a swordsman,
said Smith.
Go north to the mountain village. Ask for the Dominator, Razor, or Captain Crunch.
Those are human names? Asked Davis.
Just avoid eye contact.
Blacksmith asked Josh. How will you continue your work here if your anvil is smelted into my armor?
Didn't they tell you? I'm known for my sacrifices. So here's one for you,
said the great blacksmith.
If the Buffalo Nation is about to fall into a darkness of oblivion, well, it's crucial that we preserve the way.
When Josh returned, it was a beautiful day in Allentown. Howdy, neighbor. Me? Josh asked. Then, Brittany! He rushed over and gave her a huge hug. What brings you to the neighborhood with no name? You mean besides the new name? And the chance to battle weather gods that aren't the Great Drought? Oh my god. Well, not today. True. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, she said. Very beautiful, he said. After catching up over a big bowl of ice cream from Mr. Perry's Dairy, the old fairy friends toured the town. At the top of the water tower, watching a V of geese fly south between cloud castles, he was reminded of Captain Taylor showing him around only 2 months ago. Unlike with Taylor, they were now able to swim and dive headfirst into the huge reservoir of water in the tower. You know, we've known each other since we were 8, This is only the first time we have ever swam together, she said. It's pretty dark inside the tower, apart from the sunshine radiating down from the cracks inside the roof. A new song floated up from a distant piano. How did we even learn how to swim? She reflected. Can I swim? Josh laughed. What do you mean? Uncle Brian taught us. Everything. Ugh, relentless. But helpful. I think you'd agree. Britt, you recognize that tune? I do not, Josh of Allentown. But I suppose it's kind of beautiful? Maybe? Bouncy? You don't have to call me that. You still answered a pumpkin. Josh would have splashed her there, but a torrent of fresh water suddenly soaked him. When he came up for air, he saw it poured from a pump overhead. Wow! That's a lot of water! Yeah. I've seen this before. I think our mayor has ties to the Mafia. Yeah, Josh. I do too, she said sarcastically. I think he steals our dignity and redistributes it through back channels. Apparently the viceroys of Finworld and, I don't know, maybe even the admiral and six-star general have all been in over their heads in corruption, said Josh, treading water well over his head. Well, then follow me. The last time Josh did this, he ran the streets. This time, trying to keep up with Brittany and get dressed, they ran the rooftops. She leapt over tiles, sprinted along pipes, and slid down a mini aqueduct. Josh crashed into a pigeon cage, once again sending who knows how many doves in random messages. Tweets, as 40 called them. Upon arriving at the foot of the silo, they were also on the feet of Mayor Del Reed and the nation's best architect, reviewing some blueprints. They stepped back and shook some of the water off their shoes. Gotcha. Is that sweat? Are you two, really sweaty right now? Asked the architect. Josh and Brittany were soaked. What are you doing here? Growled Mayor Del Reed. I'm in town selling apples. Apple tarts, apple sauce, apple pie, and rattlesnakes, said Brittany. Taste of buffalo. Okay. And, said Josh, I am here to figure out once and for all what's actually going on in this silo and the dignity that we fight for constantly. Well, I'll take 2 quarts of the applesauce, interjected the architect to Brittany. One can never have enough dignity. Isn't that right, Mayor? Josh asked, pulling off glittering fibers from the mayor's shirt. Josh didn't know what dignity looked like, but these threads didn't look like cotton. That's right, said Del Reed, picking it back from Josh's fingers awkwardly and dipping it into the waters of one of the raceways, where it dissolved. The nature of man being what it is. The nature of your man, perhaps, said the architect, native to the Buffalo Nation. Our people have long lived in harmony with the resources of this world. We do not value a man for what he takes and keeps for himself, but by how much he gives away. The way, agreed the mayor, of the Mafia. Everyone keeps saying that. It's like a world of catchphrases, said Josh. What is the way? Brittany asked the native architect, aren't you the woman building the rich stable in town? It's incredible. No way. I am. For him. She nodded to Josh. What? For me? Yeah, for you. I've been working on it since we found out that you lost her. It's in memory of your filly, who gave everything she had for us. The mayor added, almost all of the Mafia folk gave what they could, even those with very little. It ended up being enough to build you and all of the community a rich horse stable. Brittany gave generously. Yeah, well, so did the chefs and the Bills and the farmers and the trappers and the shopmasters, said Brittany. And younglings. Josh felt goosebumps on his skin. He seemed to stagger back. and was centered in the open gates of New Fort York. He looked out at the bustling Mafia folk with their red, white, and blue collars, sacks of Cheerios, humble wagons, Mama J hugging Panchito, Hannibal carrying hay bales for Doc's family. Josh saw the flailing ears of a beagle puppy chasing a rooster out of a garden. He laughed. And he let the laughter's afterglow show him Hamlin, in the background, being taught how to shave with a knife by the hairiest Bill in the show. Bowie Knox had lost his kid brother, and Hamlin was a kid who had to grow up too fast. A tear grew in his eye as he imagined all of these good neighbors sitting by their kitchen tables deciding what they could afford to give to some wounded stranger, just some kid dragged into their town who'd lost a horse. Best to sit down. Their kind of love will knock you over. Josh remembered Captain Taylor saying that 2 months ago in this same spot. I don't know what to say, said Josh. You don't have to say anything. It's the actions that matter anyway, said the native. And it's our way, here. Josh had no doubt. From this day forward, he could do nothing but try to be the savior that these people, his people, deserved. All of the dignity that the Bills gather and protect, we carefully transform into water for all living things. Mayor Del Reed pointed out to the scenic frontier. Forests, deer, orchards and ranchers. Cool emerald water irrigates the nation as soon as we get it. We've done this every week, especially in the lean years. When you provide dignity, stolen from the rich or the corrupt, we use it to enhance every drop we drink, every Kimmewick grain we eat, in the very fibers of our cotton. It's simply been my honor, not to hide it, but to help share it every week, said Mayor Del Reed. And to make sure we store enough for emergency projects. That's what Mafia means, whispered Josh of Allentown. Mafia, 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 said a man with bad teeth, rolling his head.
You want to know what I think? I think that much dignity is just that much more liability. The most stress in the entire multiverse. No, please, no thank you. Am I right? Burglary, theft, getting it stolen. And those are just some of the many examples of risk. Hi, I'm Mr. Rodgers. Am I speaking with the decision maker of the household?
Josh looked back to where this greasy-haired man in the ugly suit came from. A green and yellow car with a flat tire was parked diagonally on the sidewalk. Litter had spilled on the street. In 1872, cars hadn't been invented yet, especially not the Packard.
Okay, well, for the last 17 years, me and my assistants have been helping small markets like yours feel safe and protected, knowing that the King of the North has properly secured their dignity.
Are you from a big market? Asked Josh. Mr. Rodgers took a deep, solemn breath.
Oh, yeah, one of the biggest. Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Where is it? Asked Brittany.
As the official organization of the North. Well, our organization is due north of you.
Like the Saber-Tooth Mountains?
Okay, I guess in an obnoxious, high-tech analysis we are due west of you,
said Rodgers, and then pretended to have an aside with the architect.
Man, I didn't know I was talking to a bunch of snitches.
Just heroes. Mayor Del Reed said it, referring to the three Mafia folk around him.
Oh, Oh, thank you. Oh, that's very kind of you,
said Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, but I think hero is considered a bit of a quaint term these days in the Smitten High Council. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fitting for folksy little novelties, but what was it that the Rodger prophet called me exactly? This was just a few months ago, really. Well, and the year prior, of course. Oh, yes. It was the most valuable person in the multiverse. That's what it was. Most valuable. The best. That's it. It was the value, I think. Scientifically. 4 times.
Rodger scooped up some water from the raceway, shimmering with dignity, and sucked it into his mouth.
Oh.
He rolled his eyes, pretended to be unimpressed.
And it's that type of value that my organization offers to you for a fair monthly rate. It's just to ensure that all of these liabilities are insured. Yeah, you give it to us and we make sure nothing bad happens to it.
The strong hearts looked at one another, and then back to the multiverse's back-to-back most valuable person.
Come on, guys. You know the way of the Mafia.
The law clerk Hamlin could see the Packard on the street and decided it was best to stay on the second floor of the Safeties and Guarantees building. Cookie and Boom Boom Milano had already headed toward the stranger, and Hamlin had a lot of catching up to do. The youngling stood in front of the high-ceilinged office with 6 case files and 30 claims he was supposed to settle by himself. Oh, and 1 year of schooling. Mr. Hyde's side of the office was his now, but the window was still boarded, and the bookcases collapsed, and the responsibility so big. Hamlin stood at the terracotta desk and looked at the chair. Gotta do it. When Lieutenant General McDermott climbed the steps and looked in, Hamlin sat on an apple box beside the chair.
Hamlin, did you look into the new mandatory requirements for insurance? Apparently the answer you gave me before was actually old, and now there's supposed to be some new.
Yes, sir. All done, replied Hamlin.
Oh, excellent. See? You're getting the hang of it, said McDermott, strolling over to JBL Poyer's symmetrical side. It was an open space with a good view of town, and nobody likes their lieutenant general clogging up their doorway. And he's just a boy. McDermott remembered how tough his first years were at the academy. Hamlin seemed to be unsure how to proceed, and attempted to stay busy. What is the new answer, then? Asked McDermott. I'm not sure, exactly. What do you mean? How much longer do you need? I don't know. I mean, I finished it. It's just, but Hamlin didn't quite finish his sentence. McDermott then saw something on Poyer's desk and walked the final steps. He lifted a note card. Is this what you mean when you say it's finished? Asked McDermott. You left a note for Poyer to try to figure out. The lieutenant saw a whole handful of tidy, organized note cards and to-dos on Poyer's desk. Hamlin was saying nothing. Hamlin, said McDermott. Poyer's in the sanitarium. He has consumption. This entire office is yours. The silence was deafening. McDermott got to a knee beside the apple box and looked up to the schoolboy. We need you to get things accomplished, not finished. Mr. Rogers had a look in his eye as he sat on the bumper of his car with his legs crossed. What are you thinking? Asked Josh. Something special.
said Mr. Rogers as he began to untie his shoes, holding back a smile and humming. Barefoot, he tossed his left shoe from his right hand all the way to his left hand and smiled again. Quite the trick. And what are you doing? Josh cringed. Would you like to guess why I'm changing my shoes? Not really. Josh already declined the so-called insurance and wanted this used car salesman to leave before he broke into song or something. I'm changing my shoes today because I'd like to challenge someone special to a merciless duel. What? That's right. It feels good to do things outside our comfort zone, to take a risk, no matter how big or small, he said. In this activity, as an example, I'll wager all of my dignity, and you can wager all of your dignity, and whoever survives gets it all. Don't do it, said Mayor Del Reed. We've won 6 battles. He's in debt. Mr. Rogers shook his head and gave Josh a wink. And I'll throw in whatever's inside this little suitcase. This little suitcase right here. And that would be? Would you like to guess what's inside? No. I'll show you. Mr. Rogers unlocked the little green suitcase, and Josh couldn't help but imagine it was some Midwestern mobster message, some symbolic animal carcass. He lifted the lid, and I should have known, thought Josh. Little hats. Oh, boy. Would you look at that? This little suitcase has little hats in it. Aren't they great? What's that smell? Asked Brittany. Oh, they're all made out of cheese. All kinds of shapes and sizes together. Why? Mr. Rogers laughed. I have no idea. It's just what makes them special. Look, I only dueled the great Mohawk war chief because we were dead equals, said Josh, knowing the real reason had nothing to do with dignity storage at all. But somehow, even less to do with little cheese hats. Oh, I get it. We're afraid. Hey, sometimes I feel fear too. Right here and right here, said Mr. Rogers. A one-on-one showdown isn't for little chicken wannabes. Do you know what sound they make? Chip, 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 chip. The thing about it is, said Bowie Knox, stepping up. Josh ain't alone, said Hollywood Diggs by his side. Not anymore, said Mackenzie Slim, cleaning his teeth with the Packard side mirror. Almost all of the Buffalo Bills had formed a circle of muscle and weapons around that car. Where are your associates of the North? Asked Big Iron Bass. Assistants! Rodger screamed. Not associates. Hey, sometimes your neighbors slow you down, and you need to yell at them so they learn a lesson about keeping up. And I'm sure they'll be here any moment, to back me up. Just like you. No. Boom Boom Milano cut him off. No, I know a thing or two about explosions. All the shapes and sizes you might say. Hey, the one thing about all of them, they do not bring anything together. The most valuable person in the multiverse saw a circle of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, a folksy little novelty, close in all around him. Infatti, continued Milano in Italian, when that mafia of cheese laundering mobsters catches up with you, it might lead to another type of explosion. Or swim, perhaps, added Brittany. With the fishes. She wrung water out of her hair.
Unless, of course, you had some protection,
suggested 4-0, lifting up the front of the Packard to look for tracking devices underneath. Just motor down there, installing a governor device to limit the speed of the vehicle.
All right.
Hey. Mr. Rogers stood in the dirt road in his own litter, having slid off the Packard when it was lifted. Hey, look. Friends. I think we got off on the wrong foot. Mr. Rogers shook the other one of his shoes with a sheepish smile. You want to know what I think? I think it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. His yellow teeth and bad breath were hard to ignore when he sang and adjusted his little hats. And because neighbors respect and neighbors connect, and we could mutually protect as neighbors. Oh no, said Tiny Bear Morse. Would you be mine? Won't you be mine? Please won't you be my neighbor? He's not living here, said Doc. I'm already missing some of my hallucinogenic cheese. Tourists at Finworld used to say they were always looking for special friends at 123 Sesame Street, offered Big Iron Bass. But don't quote me on that. I was in a cruel puppet show. It's real. New York City. The atomic age, said Dawkins. Road trip! Oh, whoa! I know a place even better. The magical utopian realm of New Jersey. Oh, God! How about this, right? You're gonna love it. Look, you bum me a ride there, real quick, and I'll give you as much dignity as you can carry home. Hey, and if anybody ever comes looking for the Packard, you just say it was my crazy ex-teammate's fault. What? Hey, what do you say? King Sunday the 18th. I love your face paint, by the way. Mr. Rogers gave Josh a warm hug. You know, you seem like you have a whole town of good neighbors here. And now we can be good neighbors, you know? Neighbor? Mr. Rogers looked at Josh with a glint in his eye and removed a little cheese hat from his head. Josh from Allentown, I'm gonna give you my special Rogers rate.